If your life has ever fallen apart, then this week is for you because today starts Holy Week. It is the story of a triumphant entry into Jerusalem that ends in the tragedy of the cross. But we know something that the people who lived through the first Holy Week didn't know. That the story that goes from triumph to tragedy ends in triumph once again. The road to the cross is a hard one, but we know that at the end of it, there is also an empty tomb. So the journey of Holy Week begins today. It begins with Palm Sunday. And so here is a short story about Palm Sunday, and it's one that you get to participate in. So watch this and play along as we begin our journey into Holy Week. Okay, here are your instructions. Whenever you see a screen like this with green writing, that is your part, and you are to speak, yell, or sing along with it as the part demands. Okay, let's get started. Jesus rode into town on a donkey, or a horse, depending on which translation you're reading. As he was now approaching the path from the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of disciples began to praise God joyfully with a loud voice for all the deeds of power that they had seen. Okay, so your part is coming up. Some of the Pharisees in the crowd began to say, and Jesus said, even if these were silent, the very stones would cry out. Now every day he was teaching at the temple, but the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the leaders among the people were trying to kill him. Yet they could not find any way to do it, because all the people hung on his words. The religion scholars and high priests wanted to lynch him on the spot, but they were intimidated by public opinion. Waiting for a chance to get him, they sent spies who posed as honest inquirers, hoping to trick him into saying something that would get him in trouble with the law. Try as they might, they couldn't trap him into saying anything incriminating. The Feast of the Unleavened Bread, also called Passover, drew near, and the high priests and scholars were looking for a way to do away with Jesus. But fearful of the people, they were also looking for a way to cover their tracks. That's when Satan entered Judas. He conferred with the high priests and the temple guards about how he might betray Jesus out of sight of the crowd. They couldn't believe their good luck and agreed to pay him well. Then later in the week, Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss. And when Jesus was arrested, a mob mentality came over the land, and the people brought Jesus before Pilate. Okay, heads up, your part's coming up. Pilate asked, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Is this man a Galilean? Pilate wanted to know. Good, then he's Herod's problem. Okay, now it's time for a sing-along. Don't worry, it's not hard to sing. Pilate loves to pass the buck, pass the buck, pass the buck. Pilate loves to pass the buck. Good luck, Herod. Pilate loves to pass the buck, pass the buck, pass the buck. Pilate loves to pass the buck. Good luck, Herod. You guys were great. Okay, we're going to continue on with our story. When Herod saw Jesus, he was very glad, for he'd been wanting to see him for a long time, because he'd heard about him and was hoping to see him perform some sign. So Herod asked all sorts of questions, but Jesus just wouldn't answer. Even Herod with his soldiers mocked him, and then he put an elegant robe on him and sent him back to Pilate. I can't get rid of this guy, Pilate said. This man has done nothing that deserves death. I'll just have him flogged and released. The crowd was not happy. Really? You want Barabbas the murderer to go free and to put this Jesus to death? Why? What evil has he done? As you wish. I wash my hands of the whole thing. So the story is just beginning, and we will continue the story of Holy Week as we travel through Maundy Thursday and the Last Supper, as we go through the pain of Good Friday, and we celebrate the empty tomb on Easter morning. And know that churches all over the country, all over the world, are making this same journey. And this year, more than ever before, you'll be able to access what they're doing via the interwebs. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll join your local church. I hope you'll find new and different ways of engaging in the journey of Holy Week. Because, as I said before, if your life has ever fallen apart, this week is for you.